All right, there we go. Now, so my son been using my stuff to play on his he been using my headset to go play online with his friends since he's on summer vacation, and yeah, man. So like, I had to go readjust some stuff. I guess he hit the mute button on the side. I always just mute from the computer, so now we good. But anyway, like I was saying, man, welcome to the Deceptilab, and welcome to my weekly live stream. And today, gonna be kind of a chill stream. We're gonna talk a little bit about. We're gonna take a first look at God Neptune, new combiner that's coming to the game. Um, Now, I'll show you the artwork side of it and everything like that. The abilities are still in work. They gave him a little bit of a buff that's coming up, and so we'll take a look at him. I think he looks really, really good. And I know I was up here last week saying I made a change to a war team. Uh, I actually made another change to my war team this week, and I'm gonna take a look at that. And honestly, I I would have never have built a team like this. I had a little bit of help from one of my alliance mates, and instantly it just changed the way that I play the game and made me much, much better. So we'll take a look at that. I had like one request that I wanted to look at today regarding Spinister, and Alliance HQ dropped today. So we'll take one last look at that. I know I've already looked at it a couple of times. So if you got questions, go ahead and put those into the chat, and I can address those as well. And yeah, it should be pretty chill stream. Um, Before we get into any of that, let's take a look at the newsletter. All right. So this week's event is called Enter the DJD. That'd have been better. That'd have been a better title for last week. I feel like since or the week before, it'd have been a good title for when Tarn came out. I feel like, but all right. But anyway, so if you guys hadn't noticed, Space Ape did a rework of the Alliance events. So it's week 3 of the saga. We're actually gonna have a 500K event, and some of the stuff you can win up to 60 Magna Boss, Tripredicus, Combiner Crystals, 200K a Combiner Spark, which I'm actually looking forward to because I just been, ever since I maxed out Galvatronus, I have just been piling on as much Combiner Spark as I can for God Neptune. So that'll be good. In addition to the 200K of regular Spark, and then of course your 2.5K of 4-star shards, 7.5K of 3-star shards, and 60K premium crystal shards. Robert C4 says he likes to smoke in the background. Yeah, I've been trying to improve some stuff just graphically on these, and this one just stuck with me, man. I spent about 3 or 4 hours the other day just looking at backgrounds and just stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But typical prize charts and battle zones, and we got some updates here. So the Alliance HQ is out now, and um, I know everybody in my alliance, I know at least, was everybody was excited about it, man. But yeah, man, like lots of new stuff on the way in regards to that. More XP. Obviously, we talked about it a couple of times on stream as far as the strikers and defenders and everything like that. Uh, it's I look at it as kind of like it's a nice to have. I know in playtest we did have our concerns about a couple of different things. Still got some concerns, but it's out. Um, you guys can actually take a look at it now. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know in the chat. All right, so next week, Acid Kremzeek is gonna be out, and you know what? I really like this idea. I think Dale designed this one himself, and honestly, it's a good idea just because there's so many players out there that I know that just don't have Acid to try to deal with some of these clusters. So at least at a minimum, you got a Kremzeek that you can use to try to do some anti-healing so that you can try to take care of those clusters. Granted, it's just gonna go to that one target, but we'll actually take a look at that later on. Um, it's pretty cool. I like it. And so they also said today that if you get these bots, I mean, they try to make it all, they try to make it all dramatic and stuff like that. But it's like if you get these groups of bots, then you have something special coming. So obviously, we've been waiting on the release of Ruination and God Neptune. So those are the bots you need on the Autobot side: Impactor, Roadbuster, Twin Twist, Top Spin, and Whirl. And for us on the con side, then it'll be Qualigon, Half Shell, Sea Phantom, Scylla, and Terramander. So this actually kind of tripped me out today with just like some of the stuff in the newsletter, because it's like maybe our content creators know a little bit more. So yeah, I actually show a little bit of that today. And then the other thing that tripped me out is they talked about the 5-star batch winner, and so Rotostorm and Spinister obviously won that vote. And yeah, obviously they won that vote. They actually put my link for my video. If you missed it, Friday I made a video just talking about how I felt like the vote went, um, and how I feel like we got to the point that Spinister and Rotostorm won the video. So that link's in the newsletter as well, in addition to the links to go check out all of our other official content creators. Um, so yeah, take a look at those guys as well. Engineer Voice, myself, Soldier, and Sunstreaker Waza, who I saw around in the chat a little bit earlier. And we got a lot of good unofficial content creators too. Mercenary Terror, like I always talk about, one of my moderators. It's got really good stuff out there. Um, and let's see. I think it was. I want to make sure I'm not getting people's names messed up, because I said I went in there and checked out somebody the other day. But Robert C. Ford, did you have a channel as well? It was another one of my really good followers on Discord. But check out all your unofficial content creators as well, guys. All right, so saga schedule. So the schedule, honestly, it looks a lot different. So we got a lot of these 500k alliance totalizers around there. I'm looking at it for the entire season. It's 4 of them in total, with the only large events being in week 4 for the individual for your combat shards, and they're saying Sword of Balance for the Sentius twins. So we'll see how that goes. And then you'll also have the endurance event. So those are the only truly large events in this saga. I did see that Dale put something on Discord the other day, basically just saying, "Hey, how do you guys feel about this?" And the majority says they like the event schedule. They like the events being a little bit shorter. I do have one concern. I'll talk about that a little bit more in regards to Alliance HQ. But overall, overall, I like it. Um, I think it'll work out really well for the game as a whole. Just because, man, to be honest, players start to get burnt out after a while, man, and want you don't want that. But there are some other concerns. We'll talk about it a little bit later. All right, so let's see. Community corner. Got some nice artwork in there as always. Bug fixes and improvements. So they're doing a little bit of a rework to make Brainstorm and Guy better. Just trying to get more info on that, but I didn't. But yeah. So I have to take a look at that and see how that looks after the fact. Ariel and Scylla, the G1 Power Core wasn't appearing in Power Core Lab. That's been fixed and it'll come out tomorrow. I had some issues going on with iPad. That's been fixed. Star Saber and Death Source. They fixed the Power Core G1 not appearing in Power Core Lab as well. And then they fixed the description for Skids and Knockout. And Space Safe will be on their stream next week, which will be Thursday, August 3rd. And that is going to conclude the news. All right, so let's go back into the lab and take a look in the chat, see who we got in there. And let's see. Boom. All right, so I see that my moderator, the Mercenary Terror, got in there first, followed by Chris Harmon, my other moderator, my good friend Lord Avix. We got Robert C4. Let's see, we got Carnage in there, along with another good buddy of mine, Spec. And yeah, LJ Gav, another good friend in there as well, in addition to Sunstreak Owaza. So thanks for joining, guys. All right, let's see. We got Frank Ye has joined this, so thanks for stopping by. We got S. Cloasi in there as well, so thank all of you for joining today. All right, so let's go over to the battlefield. And I think I'm going to start off by taking a look at this acid kremzeek. So let's first, let's see. Yeah, I'll take a look at. So let's go into, and actually my battlefield is not on there. So let's flip over to that. There we go. All right, cool. So let's see if I can get let's take a look at this acid kremzeek and see what it does. Actually, I probably should have went to the description for it first. So let me actually go back and go into my inventory before I even get into all that. And on the playtest server, like honestly, like the prime zone is actually like way too easy. So I have to actually go on to I have to go like fight a teammate or something like that. All right, so that green kremzeek. So one of the things they were talking about for us is it deals 47 acid damage per second to target building for 15 seconds. So you're looking at having one target that you're able to just take away the healing factor, but it does move if you destroy the target, which the green kremzeek is going to help you to do. So let's actually go in and we'll take a look at it. And yeah, we'll take a look at it in action. And actually, let me get back to y'all about the 5-star batch thing in a minute because, uh, and I talked to some of you guys already, but I wanna explain something about just how the process works. But let's get through this one first. And you can actually see that God Neptune is in there. I'm not gonna click on him yet. We're supposed to be talking about the artwork and stuff, but you can see that he's actually in there. Um, don't want to start showing off abilities and values yet. So, but yeah, you can see that he's in there with the rest of them. All right. So the biggest thing that people been having a hard time with lately has been those clusters. And so, simply put, you definitely want to have a way to just deal with those healing clusters. So what they did is they put this. I didn't even load the damn kremzeek. Let me go back and get the kremzeek. And actually, I need to switch to my current war team too, so we can talk about that at the same time. And then I'll kind of walk through how I got to that point. Board. So Randall Hamilton joined the chat and asked, "What's the chatter about Nerf and Skyrim?" So this will be a good time for us to actually take a look at that. So what happened is, with the after death ability of Skyrim and Galvatronus, one thing that we had previously is that you had 100% damage uh, immunity for the after death effect. And that took place for 10 seconds. So now they've dropped it down to 80%. I guess they was thinking that the apes were saying that it was a little bit overpowered. And so they changed it to 80%. Now, Galvatronus is my war combiner. I've gone on record saying this many times, uh, even to include um, Sunstreak Kawaza's unpopular opinion series. I was talking about it on there. I've been talking about it for a while. Like, that's my dude. That's my go-to combiner because of that after death effect, more so than anything else. But I don't know how bad that really is. So I'm gonna do some damage over here to this MDS. Then I'm gonna throw the acid kremzeek down, just so we can see if it actually works. All right. Well, on test server, it looks like it is not working. You can clearly see that it's still healing. So hopefully we'll have that updated for the release next week. But that's what it's supposed to be doing, is stopping all that stuff, all that healing. So yeah, let's actually take a look at that change to Galvatronus, because yeah, I'm actually concerned about that, because like I said, I use them on offense. I use them for all of my wars. I use them typically depending on how strong the base one and base twos are. I use them for every single defense. I mean, every single attack. All right, so I'm actually going to switch to my new war team, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, and I wanna take a look. I wanna start off taking a look at and I'm not even sure if they even put it on the test server yet, to be honest. So we'll take a look and see. All right, so obviously, actually, I forgot where it was. Yeah, I'm gonna use them now, to be honest. Let's see how my bots respond afterwards. Robert C4 says 90 or 95% shield would have been a better nerf. Yeah, I think when you look at it from a number standpoint, um, like honestly, you never want to have to nerf anything. Like these bots, obviously these combiners, they get tested, and like I did the first time when I first saw it on Discord, I was like, "What have they done to Galvatronus, man?" Like I actually use him. I've really grown to just enjoy this combiner, and then here it is getting changed. Yeah, it looks like they're taking some damage, but not a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm not sure, guys. I don't think it's going to be too bad, but I do think that I don't see why that became urgent, but yeah, it does seem like it's not too bad. I mean, my guys are still moving along just fine. You know, I let my team get split, but other than that, ain't too bad. Yeah, and I agree with you, Randall. He says that he's strong, but I don't think he's OP. But you know what? I felt that way about a lot of nerfs that they had. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the appropriate level that needs to be about. And a lot of times there have been conversations we had about stuff in playtest, and everybody's like, nah, this bot's fine. And honestly, those changes sometimes they just get made anyway. And you know, a lot of times with nerfs, I don't know if there's something else coming to the game that might require them to make the change, or that will make Space Ape feel like they need to make that change. I mean, there's some that I saw kind of like I always use the example of what Fireline and Top Shot. Yeah, they had to do that to go make the asset meta. So they if they were going to add in that additional 20%, they had to do something with how powerful it was. Which I get that, but I just like be transparent about it, and that's all I was kind of peeved about when it happened. Hey, Robert C4 says, "I'm just glad Tripredicus was left alone." Yeah, I say I know that's most people's baby, and it actually brings up a good point. Like, and it depends on how you use your combiners. I know almost everyone is like, "Oh man, I love Tripredicus." I can't keep the dude on the battlefield long enough to use all of his uh all of his abilities. Even with me using the one that has a shield on it. So for me, Galvatronus, like I said, because he gets a little bit of well, it was invulnerability, but now it's the 80%. And then on top of that, my bots get that too. So that's my go-to guy. So let's see. Let's take a look in the chat real quick, see what everybody thinks. All right, let's see. Alpha Trion one joint us. Thanks for joining, buddy. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things. So as far as the 5-star batch goes, and I'm only saying this because dude, I got lots and lots and lots of messages because I'm in like a lot of different line app chats, and like every single one of them, I was telling Chris Harmon today. I was telling him I was like, look, man, I get a lot of messages about stuff about people just ready for content to come out. It's like, oh, I want it now, and I need to know something. So here's what happens. A lot of times we'll go in there, and that Wednesday, Space Ape will go in and throw something into the newsletter, and they'll be like, hey, the content creators are gonna get this. And I was like, soon. Like I want to say this week, I'm gonna go back to the part where it was talking about it. So this week they sold us that they'll join the other bots in the 4-star, or it's supposed to be the other bots in the other 4 bots in the batch, and our content creators will be sharing this very soon. So about lunchtime, or a little bit before lunchtime today, uh, Dale said, "Yeah, we're gonna give you these by the end." He was planning on getting them out to us by the end of the day. I imagine there were some holdups and everything like that, which is perfectly fine. But the amount of people that started reaching out to me saying, "We want to know who's in the batch, like right now," and I was like, "Dude, like, I." They said soon. They ain't mean like we got them. They didn't mean that we are going to do anything with them like today. Uh, you know, but I just had like all these people tagging me, and it was like the middle of the day. I was like in the busiest part of my work day, and I was like, "Dude, what's going on? Why is everybody asking me this?" And then I looked and saw the newsletter came out, and I was like, "Oh." So what usually happens in playtest, we'll go see on Tuesday. We'll see like a version of the newsletter, and like all those key things, like anything content wise, is removed from that, and they usually put that in on Wednesday, and so we don't see a lot of that stuff before it goes out. So when I start getting questions about all this stuff, dude, a lot of times, honestly, I don't even know yet. I'm just sitting there just looking at, and then I say, so I'm looking at the newsletter and I start saying, "Hey man, something must have happened in the newsletter because I got all these people tagging me, asking me about the 5-star batch." And to be honest, since the Spinister and Rotostorm video, I've had like 20 to 30 people asking me every single day, "Look, guys, I started content creating because I wanted to share this information with you guys, especially on video. I'm not going to try to withhold any of that stuff from you, but I just simply do not have the bots yet. I don't. I don't have the names from them. I don't have anything. I'd imagine we'll find out something sometime this week. But yeah, man. So no, to answer your question, illicit post, no, I don't have the 5-star for y'all yet. As soon as I do, I'll get them out to you. I'm sure the other content creators will get that information out to you as well. Uh, and the other thing about being in playtest and content creating, I don't always have dates for stuff, man. I'd say about 95% of the time, I don't have a date for any of this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Uh, as soon as I know, you guys will know. But all right, let's take a look at the chat. Let's see. Robert C4 said, "Leak it, we won't snitch." uh, let's see. Yeah, don't know who the mystery con is. Spec says Galvatronus has ridiculous area coverage. You can drop destruction all over. Yeah, you really can, especially when you consider that they actually add wall damage to that. So on top of you dropping stuff pretty quickly, you can also use them really, really well for pathing. Chris Harmon says, "Sorry, I apologize again." No, it's cool. And honestly, don't take me the wrong way. I say I love answering people's questions, but I just want to put it out there. Like, yeah, we go into playtest. Uh, yes, we see stuff early, but it's usually not that early, man. Usually we see stuff, depending on what it is. Like certain things we might have for months. Like if we're doing like a base rebalance, we might have that for a month or two. If we are doing like a new HQ level or something like that, usually we get bots. We might get it for a week or two before release. So the key indicators, if you're looking trying to get more information, like usually I say like 1 to 3 weeks if we go get if we come up with a bot that you'll see it soon. It's like God Neptune, you're probably gonna see really soon. We started off with just giving them to us for a day to go play around with before we get a survey to see what we think about it. The new developer Jesse is actually really good, so he usually goes and makes some tweaks. But I guess he made some tweaks to some of the abilities, and I don't think they took yet. So even if I wanted to show it on stream, um, to be honest, it's nowhere near the final version yet. It's been in test for about a day, about 2 days, maybe three. And so the question says they want my guess, all caps, my guest on a new bot. Man, I think they just put Rod U in there anyway. To be honest, in Inferno, but probably not realistic. Honestly, I was talking to some of you guys earlier. I don't even really get excited for 5-star batches like that anymore, man, because it's like if I'm not doing something that's directly going to help my team, like all I do is I just see myself falling further and further behind the faster that they put more 5-star patches out. So that's the way I look at it. And Joker, it says he's late to the party. Hey man, nah, you doing you making pretty good time, bro. Thanks for joining. And so yeah, that's what it looks like there with our new combiner God Neptune. I don't have an Autobot account, so I can't show Ruination. I know Suntrika Waza showed them off in a short yesterday, or not yesterday, but I think it was the day before. Um, so yeah, if you hadn't seen that, check it out. But honestly, I mean, and some of us were talking about it on Discord yesterday. Um, dude, Ruination, the way that they designed them and showed, and the one that was showed up in that short. And Ruin Nation's really ugly, man. Like I'm just gonna be honest. I like God Neptune's design, but I've been saying that the entire time that they've been releasing all of the parts for God Neptune. He actually looks really, really good. Uh, Escloase asked about since he is getting a weapon core this saga. It appears that way. The only place I really saw anything about it was on the newsletter, and so yeah, I believe he is getting getting the core. We hadn't started testing anything like that yet, so I would imagine we'd see something like that soon if that's the case. LJ Gaff says he looks a bit tanky, more damage than Predator King, and about the same health. Yeah, somebody got a request to transform him so you can see all the bots. Yeah, we can do that. Robert C. Force says that he's talking about he's talking about Ruination. Says that he looks like the construct bots strafe. Yeah, I know we were talking about that yesterday too. But yeah, man. So um, once we get closer to the bot being finalized, I'll show the bot in stream. But I will tell you what I know so far is the conversation we were having about this in playtest is that there may be a new element on the horizon for God Neptune. Now, I'm not saying that 100% that's the case. Um, Jesse's got to go check with the team to see if we're going to actually be introducing potentially a new element. And the other thing that I'll say is this. So when I was using all the abilities, um, they combo very well. Like to for lack of better terms, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, they combo very very well. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing because they were supposed some buffs that the developers were supposed to put through today. I hope those buffs make him into a really, really, really good combiner because I've been saving my combiner spark for him a little bit. So let's see. I mean, everybody's in the chat saying, yeah, they're adding water. So, yeah, obviously, with these guys being the pirate Seacons, there's only like really one element that's fitting. The thing is, we don't know if they want to add that as like a true element or if they just want to say, okay, well, this is just this one bot's abilities. Now, if they add a water ability, there are some things that I was pointing out. And let me go get to my combat bots real quick. So if they did try to decide to make like a water type thing, then suddenly, do I have him? I don't know if I got all those on. So suddenly you got combat bots like a combat bot like Sawtooth that has a water gush. So if they did decide to do an element thing, they would have to actually go back to all of the other bots combats anything that have anything to do with water. Now here's the problem: Sawtooth, his con equivalent is this dude, and that's Zori. And all he just has a rock slide, which is not an element that they put into the game that has any kind of special characteristics or properties. And so the problem I have with this is this: when we first, and this is a whole different regime of developers we got now, but when we first came out with Zori and Sawtooth, I was like, hey man, you guys are really gonna have two different abilities for the same bot. Now, granted, they do the same percentages of damage, and they say, "Oh, we're not looking that far ahead." Um, these guys we don't have elements for water and rock slide yet, and I was like, "Cool," but one day you might, and you've already handcuffed yourself into doing bots this kind of way. And so now here we are. You know, it's just irritating to me because like one time we said, oh, acid, all acid and fire are the same because they had to try to go do something to separate the differences they had between some certain bots still on the Autobot side and the Decepticon side. So now here we are, not learning from our mistakes and doing the exact same thing again. So I'll be honest, if this is a barrier to us adding a new element, I am a little bit irritated by that because all the warning signs were there, and we chose to ignore them. I mean, not we mean as a whole, as like the team up there from Space 8, when working with us in playtest. So I more to follow. When I know something, you'll know something. But yeah, there is a possibility that we get water as an element. Let's see. Spec asked the question: are they planning on a Neptune post effect? So I will say this: what we have so far, nah, they didn't. I think pretty much unanimously, nearly every playtester has asked for some type of post effect. Um, I got some ideas on how I think that should look, but I don't want to say it without the I might wind up giving something away as far as how the abilities work. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but I do have some ideas that I want to share with the apes on if they decide they want to do a post death effect. Uh, hey, yo, Robert C4 says, "Can't wait for the description. Water does not combo with fire." Um, but I gotta agree with Spec, and I've been calling it for a long time as well. I think that so here's the thing. I think that the electric meta is next, and so what Spec is saying is ice and electric should combo. I think most of us agree that I mean that'd be cool. But you know what? If we do introduce water, what if water and electric comboed? I mean, that would be natural. They'd be like, hey man, maybe you get a 20% boost when you use electric in water. If we actually got water as an element, and it would naturally make sense. And maybe you could actually do like Robert was saying, and you could have some kind of reduction against fire attacks. That would be dope, honestly. So there's a lot of flexibility you got there. Yeah, and I have to agree with you guys. Terra says that Zori is pterodactyl, but without the healing. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Except for he just does more damage. So uh, there's a lot of practical situations where he could actually, yeah, you can do something with him. Uh, let's see. And yeah, I agree with you, Robert. The rock sliders just kicked up pebbles. Yeah, I was like, I thought it was gonna be cool. I like the damage element of Zori, but it's not exciting. To you just gotta. But you are getting the damage piece out of that. And I get that. But yeah, I have to agree with you too, LJ, that water and ice is an element more likely. Yeah, I have to. I agree with that. Just kind of looking forward. Just kind of looking forward and say, well, what could they do down the road? Because I think what they'll do is they'll introduce the elements individually, and then they might not combo right away. But I'm not saying that that's definitely the case. Alpha Trion 1 is waiting on a 5-star Bash Breaker and Big Daddy. Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. They might actually there would be some room for them to bring air elements. I mean, pretty soon we'll just be having we'll just have like the last airbender running around here, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll make a combiner that's like the airbender. All right, so I want to talk about the conversation I had this week with so one of my mentors, they uh, and my came down to my alliance, was doing a little training with everybody, and actually this is not the right team, but he was doing a little training with everybody, and you know I was doing okay, but I was like I always want to get better, and so he told me that I should try to work on my team. And now it's like every time somebody tries to change my team, man, I just get nervous about it. I'm just like, shoot, man, like all these bots that I built at the high levels, I'm gonna have to go take out. And I'm actually gonna go over to my main account for that. So let me open it up real quick because to be honest, uh, it looks better up there. So let me get that up and we can take a look at what I did to my team. Uh, Shoot, man, let me go to the lab for a second because it looks like my mirroring for that for my live account blanked out, and I got to pick it back up. All right, cool. I think I got it. All right, cool. So now I got my live server account. All right, so I want to take a look at my team, and then the reason why I went to my live account, my normal account, is because I wanted to take a look at the actual values for all of these bots. And I'm actually gonna do actually working on an Art of War video, so I can talk about this. But I had it completely abandoned the block walk, and a friend of mine, Motivator, he talked me back into it, and basically he talked me back into it just by talking about pathing and how to build the team. So this is my new war team. It's about 3K and squad power lower than the war team I had before. But the key thing here is that block walk. And see, my block isn't even that high power. You can actually see, like, I got him at level 64, and honestly, I just stopped working on him. Like every time I was using him, he was dying, and so um, yeah, so I stopped using him, and so he stopped getting levels. But I'm working on him again. I gave him the Micronus and the Fangtron, uh, just for and a couple of reasons. And then honestly, I'll talk about them a lot more when I do that Art of War video about the Black Walk. But yeah, Bludgeon. I actually started using Leech Maximal and Growl. I started using Bludgeon on defense also. And so um, yeah, and so one of the things we were talking about is the use of more minions on the offensive side as well. Then kind of distract a little bit. So the more minions, the better. He actually tried to get me to use Soundwave as well. This, so Blaster for you guys on the Autobot side. I told him hell no. So I just didn't like that ship has sailed for me. I tried it. It was really, really clumsy for me, but I was willing to use some of the guys I got. So he said he threw me a bone, said you can keep your Nemesis Prime. So I started using Fracus and Primer on him just to try to go do something with the healing and that. And I also have Shield. So Nemesis Prime winds up being my backup plan for if everything else fails. Yeah, and I'll actually show you. He's asking about Fangtron, but yeah, you can pop a couple of outposts, kind of like Spec is saying down there in the chat. So yeah, it works. Now this had me terrified, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Acid Storm, I put the Alchemist Prime and Fireline on, and like when he made that suggestion to me, and he gave me a list of like 3 different teams that I could build with the bots that I had, and like I was just like, man, isn't Fireline gonna make his range too short? You can see his range says it is short, and I was terrified. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that. But I realized that I use Acid Storm a lot, and then there's going to be a lot of healing with the AOE and the Alchemist Prime Core. So it's been working pretty good. I rarely ever lose them, but I went ahead and did that, even though I didn't want to. Now my gunner options are limited. The problem I kept running into is I put Brawl back into my team. Now I have to depend on his G1 core in order to get some fire damage. But the theory behind it is that I could actually get some fire damage to follow up on the acid. And I actually took knockout off of my team because of this. And it was just really frustrating for me because I was just like, man, like I want to use knockout, I want to get some wall damage, but I tried it and I actually liked it. But brawl was just there for additional range. You know, knockout. I kept finding myself I was using the knockout and the scavenger combo, and certain times I get to these clusters and I just couldn't reach the stuff I needed to reach. Cutthroat's back. I had benched him for a long time now. And, everybody was telling me go use Crater Maker, go use some of the range combat stuff like that. Um, Look, I got a level 9 Singe. I've talked about this at length. That Singe Quintus combo, it works. He actually saw me use it a little bit earlier. It does work, so I used it, and then I can just keep constant healing. From the longest time, I had been preaching getting as much individual healing as you can. So you see, I got I put a 3-star fracas on blast off just to get some individual healing going. Even though I might change that to a crater maker, I'm just kind of playing around with that combo right now. And then lastly, I got hook, but I also put I'm still playing around with this one too. Uh, when we were talking about it, they told me to put another minion on there. I tried it. I didn't like it as much, and I also put my Nexus Prime core back up there again. But I feel comfortable with Nexus Prime. I feel comfortable with Shroot, and so I'm actually in a pretty challenging war right now. Let's take a look at some of my replays and see how all that played out. Spec asks, is that why my Cuddy is so tanky? Yeah, hell yeah, it is. Like, listen, I love, I love having bots that's got. I like for them to be healthy. Now, a lot of people will just chase just DPS, just DPS. Man, look, a dead bot isn't damaging anything. So yeah, I use that Quintus. I use that Quintus, and I use that Singe. So this is what we were talking about. So when you go up here with Fangtron, and you can go up and actually I didn't pop anything this time, but the goal a lot of times is to pop an outpost or two, and then you have to actually delay a little bit before you use the ability. So I'm actually gonna skip out of this one because I got a cleaner replay. I think on base two. All right, so Fangtron pops the first outpost. Now, if you end up with having multiple outposts within range, you can actually go and drop that blot hollow to go get another outpost pop. Now, from a pathing standpoint, what happens a lot of times is you're able to you're able to do a couple things. You're able to get some damage from that hollow, and you're also able to pop multiple outposts before before anything happens. Now with Cutthroat, I got to smoke again, so I don't have to be have as much focus on healing as I once did. But I also always want to have the opportunity to try to find ways to protect myself a little bit. So um, this one was earlier before the the change to Galvatronus. So then I had Galvatronus giving me some damage reduction on top of the fact that I got my outpost poppers, and as a backup, I can use bludgeon in the process. Like I said, when I do the Art of War video about it, I'm gonna talk about it in a lot of detail. But like when I was talking to this dude about it, like he laid everything out, and then I was able to use him as a pathfinder in my wars. And like up until today, I actually lost on base 5 today. I just got thrown off guard by some stuff that was going on in real life. But dude, honestly, like I hadn't been losing since I started using this block walk instead of using the team I was using. So, but yeah, man. So that's kind of what I've been working on this week. So let me go back into the lab real quick. I got a couple of quick announcements. Actually, you know what? I had a request. Let me go back over to the test server because I had a request that I was supposed to look at too. Uh, if I can actually, I think my test server thing might have closed. Let me take a look. I don't. Let's see. And I'm trying to get stacks to open back up. You can see the other game I played there too. I played a game. I was talking to some of you guys about it. I played a game called Marvel Snap. I got that on there too. Let's see. All right, so this. I'm actually having a hard time. Let me go to the lab real quick, and then try to go back to. There we go. All right, cool. Um, so while I'm waiting for that to boot up, so I don't know if you guys noticed, I got a different hat on. Um, I actually wound up getting my first sponsor this week. So there's this energy drink company that's called Dubby, and like they use like all like natural like products to go make their energy drinks. So they actually sent me a couple of like welcome packets and everything like that to try to go test out. And so this is one of their logos they have up here on the hat. So pretty cool. But you can actually, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it's just like a little energy face dude. So that's why I had my Decepticon hat on or whatever today. I was actually rocking the sponsor hat. But yeah, so I gotta get everything set up through them. But basically, um, if any of you guys are interested in energy drinks, uh, you can use the code that I got. So I'm gonna start putting that in the bio of my videos, and you guys can get 10% off if you use my code. So I'm gonna get all that information out to you. I got some stuff I got to work on this weekend to include working on the membership program and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what we got. All right. So Chris Harmon wanted me to take a look at some bots. Let me see if I still got that information. All right. So let's see. Spec says I'm gonna drink an entire 12 pack of your energy drink. Uh, yeah, Leech Maximal does work on defense because it'll make it'll hack opposing bots. The problem is with bludgeon, I'm gonna wind up stunning people first. But yeah, it'll work. All right, so let's see. Shoot, man, it looks like my test server just froze up on me, Chris. So I tell you what, once I can get this thing running again, I'll um I'll run a couple of videos with the team that you wanted me to build, and I'll send them to you directly because this thing just froze up on me. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Like I said, uh, keep a lookout because when those new 5 stars come out and test, I'm gonna share that with you. And also, the goal for me this weekend is to finish getting all of my get all my stuff on membership set up. I still want to go set up all the emojis, stuff like that. And yeah, we should be getting that set up soon. Uh, I also want to finish working on there's going to be merchandise that I'm going to have out. Actually, if you guys look at my banner on my page, I actually set up like a new logo and everything. So I want to use that. I want to have like 2 logos. I want to still keep my Freeziest Max one that I have with Rumble on it. But I was just designing some new stuff. So if you go check out my banner, let me know if you like it. And yeah, man, like it's a work in progress. I just keep trying to build on the channel, especially with the sponsors and everything like that. But like I tell you, man, like these the energy drink, man. Like I said, this is the company I was talking about. It's actually pretty good, and if somebody like me, that doesn't want to have a lot of sugar and sodium and stuff like that, it's pretty healthy. So but all right, guys, I will see you. Well, I was gonna say I'll see you next week, but I still owe you guys an Art of War video, and I still probably owe you a 5 star batch review. So I'll see you a couple of times this week, but I'll also see you on the battlefield. Freezy is out.